our special guest for the hour, Bahnsen Group founder and managing partner, David Bahnsen. Welcome to the program, sir. I'll come to you first on this. I thought these poll numbers are pretty interesting. You know, all the economic headlines have been pretty dour over the past couple weeks, David, and yet you look at how Americans feel about the president and the country, things kind of seem to be going Donald Trump's way right now.
I think it's very encouraging on the overall approval net, but this economic number is fascinating, and I'm not trying to pour rain on it, but he was plus 14 economy in 2017, plus 3, plus 9, plus 12, his 4 years in first term. He's now minus 12. Never happened before. It's a leading indicator. Those approval disapproval ratings won't hold if the economy rating holds negative. I don't think it will. I think there is a chance to get tax reform done, let deregulation kick in, let positive things happen in the economy. That switches the sentiment back very quickly. But this is the first time over the last 4 weeks. And people keep saying it's Wall Street. It's not Wall Street. It's embedded in other metrics, too. There's concern. It's the uncertainty element out there. I think he has plenty of chance to right that ship. But if that goes the wrong way, the approval ratings will go the wrong way, too.
It is true. His economic ratings were lower than he's ever seen. But, Dagan, that also strikes me, if there's any number that Donald Trump could make up ground on very, very quickly, it's on the economy. David, Jackie invoked the name of Gavin Newsom in California as one of these non-leader leaders. My contention has been I think he's really well positioned for the Democrats right now, partly because he's the only one who's out there who is actually sort of seeming like he's trying to kind of tack to the middle. Do you think that that approach and that guy combined could be who emerges out of this?
First part, yes, that approach. Second part, that guy, no. He's the governor of a failed state. That's not going to change. He's an elitist, snobbish, too well-coiffed, just absolutely intolerable, insufferable human being. No possibility Gavin Newsom can get elected president in this country. Now, the AOC thing should concern everyone. Because especially if the right is going to keep doing all this populist stuff, eventually, the left will give away more toys than we will. Okay? Yep. And AOC will, she's an attractive, presentable, intelligent, articulate, but I disagree with her on every single thing she believes. But she can use social media, she can use youth and energy. So all the liabilities that Kamala Harris had, AOC won't have. And yet, if that's what America's going to be buying in a few years, now how do you keep America from buying that? By delivering a good economy, by delivering on the supply side, tax cuts, deregulation, energy independence. That's what I think the Trump administration has to stay laser focused on. I believe they will. But if they don't, if the people that made President Trump president decide, no, they didn't deliver, I could see them turning to AOC. Absolutely.
She's the front runner outside of that blank space.
The blank space.
The blank upper left corner there.
Taylor Swift, blank space.
Gavin Newsom has doubled, though, in the polls. He was at 1%, he went to 2%.
Look at him go.
One
Rate of
person
change.
who wasn't in that poll is John Fetterman.
That's right.
John Fetterman is the single person who led some of the Democrats to do the right thing and move to keep the government funded and open.
And he actually is supportive of Israel.
Yeah.
And, well, he speaks his mind.
Yeah.
Taylor, what are we looking at in markets here?
Okay, we got a big upgrade, you guys. MoffettNathanson comes out, and they go to a buy from a neutral. They said, bold call, this company single-handedly won the streaming wars. David Bahnsen, I don't know if you hold this stock, but a company, no, you only like our dividend players, don't you? But Netflix, to have someone come out and say you're winning the war, pretty strong.
I wish David's face had a sound effect.
I know.
My kids say the same thing. Yes.
We need to get one of those Tesla deals, for David's face.
You know, the Tesla makes the whoopee cushion sound.
Is that what the face would do? I don't know.
No. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think that he's right. Netflix has clearly won streaming wars so far. And the reason why we can't buy it is because we want companies that return cash to us. They can't return cash to shareholders. They shouldn't return cash to shareholders because they need all the cash because they spend billions of dollars on content. And that's how they've won streaming wars. But at some point, the Ponzi's got to end and they got to convert it into real free cash flow. They haven't done that yet.
Hey, Scott Bessent was asked to mention this yesterday. David, if you want to jump in here. Going after the Houthis, he said, was a strong message, but it teaches the Iranians what they should expect. This is the beginning, maximum pressure campaign. It shows them that they will pay for blocking the freedom of passage for global shipping and pushing the economy back toward inflation. The closing of the Suez Canal slows commerce and increases inflationary pressure for us and our allies.
And therefore, the inverse is it's deflationary to get it back open. And you saw shipping costs come down. The futures market on some of these overnights have moved lower. This is a big byproduct of why. It's also, I think, moral clarity, standing up for what's right. It's American strength and American interest, and I'm entirely for it. And I think it's been a wonderful demonstration of what it is that he campaigned on. A lot of people misunderstood his foreign policy. They thought he was running as a radical isolationist. I am a Reaganite, muscular U.S. foreign policy guy. In this case, it's a Jacksonian America first interest. That's what he's doing, and I think it's good for the economy.
And I just want to come back to the immigration stuff because we didn't talk about the federal judge halting the deportations this weekend. I was listening to this left-wing radio station on the way in this morning, and they were saying he kept deporting people after the federal judge said that he couldn't. He wasn't. They were on the plane already after he had enacted this wartime act that he is within his rights to seize upon.
I would just point out, too, we were talking about the problems of the Democrat Party. This is not a fight they want to have. They're sitting here defending the ability to keep a terrorist in the country for over a couple-hour technicality thing. It's just a silly fight for them politically.
The plane was in international airspace, period.
According to the Federal Reserve last year, over half of people working multiple jobs had a college degree. With everything so expensive, I've got a college degree. Some of these people probably have outstanding student loans as well, and it's hard to get by. So they keep, racking up jobs to try to do it. At the same time, we talk about maybe not going that route at all, and maybe that being a smarter way to progress into the future.
Okay, first of all, this is not about stagnant wages, because real wages, net of inflation, were up the last 2 years. This is about the college degree they got being worthless and not delivering what they thought it would deliver. They went to school and took $250,000 debt, believing it would guarantee a lifestyle and a standard of living that it can't guarantee because they're not equipped to provide that kind of value to the economy. This is a systemic problem of the higher education system, other than a few elite schools not delivering what people thought, and them still going forward making the decisions, having to take 2 years of sociology and gender studies classes instead of studying what they want to study, what they want to do with their lives. And then basically, if we're just going to talk honestly, they're going to party for 4 years, and then they get out in the real world, and lo and behold, they don't have the marketable value they thought they were going to.
Okay, but I didn't graduate that long ago, and I wasn't partying or taking gender studies classes. Right. I was, a history major. I took some minors in finance and language. When I see roughly half of Americans need 2 jobs to get by, you're telling me all these people didn't get an education?
Not half of college degree holders need 2 jobs. That's including a significant amount of people that don't have college degrees. The greater percentage of people now getting the second job, the ones with the degrees that we're talking about in this study, that to me is a byproduct of their wages that they expect to make. And when we're talking about inflation, it isn't about going out. I think it's shelter. Okay. It's with a cost of rent. It's 30 years ago, it was about 25% of your paycheck to pay rent. It's now 50%.
Yeah.
So regardless of what eggs cost, too much of your check is already gone so that you have a place to sleep at night.
Yeah. I mean, it's staggering. And we do talk about people who get useless degrees in basket weaving and other things. And that's definitely part of the problem.
It's a good minor, though. I enjoyed that as a minor. My basket weaving minor.
I think people with business degrees are getting a worthless degree, too.
Right.
It isn't just those ones we like to make fun of. They're not valuable in the marketplace just because of the degree.
So Pepsi's buying Popsi for about $1.95 billion because, in part, Coca-Cola has their own Simply Pop. Again, soda consumption on the decline, but they're trying to make up with it with prebiotic sodas. David, we know that you own the stock. Do you like this?
Yeah, they're not paying for it. They're not overpaying for it. $1.95 billion. It has $300 million of cash, so 1.6 net. And there's an earn-out for performance, and they're funding it all from cash, so it's not a levered buy. They're not diluting equity. It's a good purchase for Pepsi. I don't know what prebiotic means.
Oh, my God. I'm obsessed with my gut, so now I'm hearing there's a soda that has prebiotics in it. I get my probiotics, but I need my pre.
TBD.
So I'm kind of excited about this.
So you can be excited and help Pepsi stock all at once.
Yeah.
This is a great deal.
Apple scrambling to cover up its latest stumble. AI delays plaguing the tech giant.
The iPhone maker trying to mask some of these issues with the new operating system. even considering an iPhone 17 Air without ports. So I think the question is Apple losing its edge? David Bahnsen, weigh in.
Well, I don't know enough about the specific product advantages and competitive issues and this and that. We're all sitting here. There's various Apple devices around. They have a gigantic market share. My issue is, as an investor, it's forward-looking. Markets are discounting mechanisms, what they believe about the future. And if we could all go back in time 10 years ago and talk about what Apple would do over the next decade, it'd be a wonderful conversation. How do you grow from this position of $3.2 trillion of market cap? How do you double it? Which, by the way, to double it in 10 years is just 7% a year. Is it going to be a $6.5 trillion company? So the law of large numbers says that they have to give something back. They're going to make some mistakes. They generate a ton of cash flow. You know, Taylor, what I would do if I were them is maybe start paying out a really big dividend.
There it comes.
What is it right now? A quarter?
No, it's like, a quarter of a percent.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I agree with you, David, that they've got to, in order to sort of keep up this momentum, they've got to do something amazing. But Taylor, I also sort of feel like it's Apple, and ultimately they're not going to fail.
I'm thinking a lot about Lou Bassanise's analogy about they're late to the party, but they're the life of the party. And I think they're having a hard time finding the house where the party is at right now.
Okay, they're a little lost.
They're a little lost. Like, the party is AI on the inside of this thing, and they just haven't even arrived at that party yet.
I don't think I was the life of a party when I was 20, but I'm 50 now, and I'm not even invited to those parties. No. And I just want to ask you, name one example in history of a company that was top of the world one decade and stayed top of the world the next decade, because you're not going to find it.
Right.
Not in American public stock markets.
But
by the way, it's a good thing about our market. We're so dynamic that we change leadership.
Are you saying it's going to be Kodak or Intel? Whoa!
What I'm saying is, it used to be Kodak, and it used to be Intel, and it used to be Apple.